Chinese Filipinos are one of the largest overseas Chinese communities in Southeast Asia. Chinese Filipinos with at least some Chinese ancestry comprise 18 to 27% of the Philippine population, totaling up to 30 million people. There are approximately 2 million Filipinos with pure Chinese ancestry, or around 2.5% of the population. The mass naturalization allowed the majority of the alien Chinese to become citizens of the Philippines. This trend reflected in the economic and cultural development of the Philippines. The top 4 richest men in the country are Chinese: Henry C., John Gokongwei Jr., Andrew Tan, and Lucio Tan. There is a growing number of famous actors and actresses who are Chinese or have Chinese blood. Kim Chu, Sian Lim, and Di, Richard Yap, and more. In addition, with the growing interest to Chinois, Yang Constantino's song called Chinito became a hit.
Nalilimutan ko ang itsura ko kapag kausap na ikaw. Sana naman ako'y pakinggan at nang ikaw ay malinawan, dahil nabihag mo ang aking paningin.
But since when and how did Chinese culture started to affect and influence the way of living of Filipinos? The presence of the Chinese community in the Philippines started during the pre-Hispanic period when Philippines and China are doing barter, an old method of business transaction wherein goods are exchanged for other goods since money does not exist. From then on, Chinese people had little by little influenced and integrated their way of living to that of the Filipinos, from the products they consume up to the customs and beliefs that they practiced. Little by little, the Chinese community have become part of the Philippines, starting from barter to becoming immigrants and eventually having local-born citizens. There are 2 types of Chinese people in the Philippines: the immigrant first generation and the local-born young generation. It was before and during the World War II when the native-born Chinese people, or the so-called first-generation Chinese, immigrated to the Philippines. They are the ones who heavily influenced the country with Chinese traditions and brought the traditional Chinese organizations that still exist until now. The younger generation Chinese are the local-born children of the first-generation Chinese community. To be exact, there are 2 types of younger generation Chinese: the second-generation Chinese, who are the children of the first generation, and the third-generation Chinese, who are the children of the second generation. Unlike the first generation, the younger generation Chinese people are less confined with Chinese community and can easily cross ethnic barriers between Filipino and Chinese cultures. Chinese influenced Filipinos in different aspects in terms of food and traditions. Filipinos became fond of Chinese cuisine that is part already in the common dishes that Filipinos are looking for. Some of these dishes are pancit canton, pancit lomi, pancit palabok, siopao, siomai, and many more. Also, Chinese influenced Filipinos in terms of traditions in many ways. Filipinos adapted feng shui and superstitions that talks about the concept of luck. Also, it is included in their influences that Filipinos nowadays fully accept and celebrate the culture of Chinese community during special events. Moreover, are these influences true? Are these still present in this generation? With this, we became curious of the effect this can have on typical Filipinos and Chinoys. Do Filipinos notice that some of their traditions are actually from Chinese tradition? We then decided to ask random Filipinos what they think about this.
I'm Chris. I'm a Filipino. Natag ko yung Chinese is yung Gosman. Naging benefits na sa akin bilang Pilipino is yung mag-save ng money. Ayaw muna namin maglabas. Actually, hindi ko Pinoy naman ganun din. Pero mas paniwalaan namin sa Chinese. And then, syempre, after nun, celebrate din ng mga Chinese. So, nakikiyang lang sa pinaki-cover. So, yun lang.
Di ba, no? Tuwing New Year. Tapos, may dragon. Tapos may nilaray kami dyan. Sabit. May sabit. Tapos, yung sabit niya may tapos, dragon sa sila kayo. Yung papakain. Papaswerte ba? Papaswerte. Yung patong.
Tikoy, yun, di ba? Tikoy, pampabuenas din nila yun eh. Ang nanlaw yan. Para matibay yung samahan, pamilya, ganun. Yan, tikoy.
Ano, yung sabit-sabit, tsaka yung mga tilong. Yung mga bilog-bilog.
Una pagbagong taon, yung anak ko, maano ng mga prutas, tapos mga barya, tapos parang ano ba yung pinapausok? Kantila, insenso. Yun, bumibili siya, tapos pag yung bagong taon, ay pinapagulong palabas ng pintuan namin. Yun, nagsusunod siya ng ano, so kapag yung mga klase ng para mga hayop, yung mga dragon, paano rin siya ron? Yun, doon naniniwala yung anak ko. Hanggang ngayon, nung maliit siya, ngayon college na siya, ganun pa rin. Ganun pa rin yung kanyang pinapaniwalaan. Kinabukasan na namin kinukuha yung mga barya, tapos yung prutas hindi kinakain. Hanggang sa mabulok, ganun lang ang ginagawa niya.
Yung mga pamahiin nila, pag may nag-aaral sila, pag tulad nung nakaraan na nila, parang isang patay nila nung nakaraan. Tapos, hindi naman masama mami kung magigaya doon sa mga ano nila, gawain lang. Kasi sabi nila pag masipag ka, kasi ganang ano nila, pag masipag ka, wala na gagandang buhay mo.
Truly, the culture and traditions of the Chinese community has had a large influence on the lives of us modern Filipinos. From their traditional Chinese cuisine that can be seen in restaurants all over the Philippines to their festivals like the Chinese New Year, which is also being celebrated not only by the Chinese community but also by us Filipinos.